Yeah, hi, I'm Bernie Griffen. I have a wonderful band called the Grifters, and we're just releasing a new album. I've been in the music industry for a long time. I was involved in distribution from 1997 to 2008, when I got bitten pretty hard by the digital revolution. Took a lot of percentage out of my earnings, and I got sick too at the same time, and I decided that it was time for me to quit, so I shut down the company. And I discovered that I started to write songs. I had been writing songs all along, but I started to write them. I guess a bit more about me is that I was also chair of Independent Music New Zealand. I sat on the board of RANZ and PPNZ, Phonographic Performances, the Music Industry Commission. I've been heavily involved in the politics of New Zealand music, been part of some of the decision making in New Zealand on air. Shook Alan Clark's hand. Stuff like that. I kind of got involved, kind of like a shadow artist. As I look back, it's like I really always was a songwriter, and I tried to make a living out of music, and I ended up helping other people get their songs out rather than helping myself get my songs out, and that's what this is all about. My bass player is a guy called Tony Daunt, and I knew him when he was like 15. He had a foot-high mohawk, white mohawk, and he was getting beaten up by all the KCs around town. He was a cheeky little person. And I saw him again about 3 years ago, and maybe a bit more than 3 years ago, and we just started to play. I had been playing quite a lot on my own, and I also had a band called the Flaming Pearls, which is still active. But when I saw Tony again, this sort of thing happened. We started to play as a duo. He's an absolute rockabilly freak, and if you see us play, you'll understand what I mean. He wears a hat. He's got a teardrop tattooed on his face. Tattoos all over himself. So he's our gunslinger, really. And so we started playing. And working out how the songs would be the most effective way of delivering them. And then I used to play records at Verona. Actually, I'll start again tomorrow night. But I played records at Verona on a Friday night, I think, once a month. And I'm the host of Border Radio, so it was kind of country and rockabilly and blues and all that kind of stuff. And I was there playing one night, and this tall, skinny bloke had come over and started talking to me. And I said to him, what are you up to? I knew he was a guitar player. And he played in a band called the Tectones in the 80s. Steve Roach is his name. And I ended up saying, well, come and have a jam, And he came and he stayed. And then the next thing that happened was I was standing on the side of the road in Ponsonby, having a cigarette with this little chap, and we started talking about music. And he said he was a drummer, and I said, well, come to the jam. And that's how the Grifters started, and we just kind of got this kind of swampy blue country sound, which I'd always been in love with. As a kid I really loved Tony Joe White and Creedence Clearwater Revival and those kind of people. The Allman Brothers, that southern Louisiana rock stuff. Always loved it, and Little Feat growing up. So it's not that I imitated anything that they did. It was just the way the music came out. A lot of the music was written in minor chords, so it's melancholy, and so we started to develop the sound. One night we were playing at the King's Arms with a band called the Broadsides, and after we'd finished, Dave Kahn came up to me, who's our fiddle player. He's kind of our musical genius. He plays fiddle, banjo, mandolin, piano, whatever, accordion, saw, whatever. He can play it. And he's also a great arranger. He's a very highly educated musician who's played in the Philharmonic. His mother's an ex-famous folk singer from the 70s called Kathy Harrop, and a harpist. So he's been brought up around music, he would have been fed at the tip on music. And so he brings this, and he came and had a jam with us, and everything that was missing in my mind and my imagination came in.
Wow.
And it was just amazing situation. Now these guys, we fight like hell, and we argue, and we fall out in and out, but the music is amazing, and to have those people playing with me is a great privilege. I go to any lengths to hang on to them. We just released an album called Everything So Far, and you can probably tell by the title that it's absolutely everything that we've recorded so far. So the idea behind that was we released an EP last year. What we did was we started playing, and I've been in the music industry for a long time, and I realised that you've got absolutely no chance without a fan base. So my plan was to start playing and to play for free as much as we could, so that we could attract people to us, wouldn't cost them anything, and if they liked it, they'd come back. And that's basically what happened. We played the Thirsty Dog month after month after month on a Friday, the second Friday night of the month, for 15 or 16 shows, and the crowd got to bursting point. People kept coming back and back, and that's when I realised that we had something, you know. And so we made an EP which has got tracks 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, 5 tracks on it, with no name, just called Bernie Griffen and the Grifters, and we had that on the door to sell for $10. And a lot of people would have bought that. And then we decided to go in late last year and make another EP with Carl Stephen as a producer, who's the lead singer for Heart Attack Alley and has a long history in New Zealand music. And when I spoke to Carl, I just said, man, I want you to make us sound as much like us as possible without screwing around with it. And he's a fan and a friend, and he did a great job of these 5 songs that we decided to record. So when we had all the material finished, I said to the guys, it's time for us to get out and do some work outside of Auckland. So we, after some discussion, I can tell you, we decided to release an album. And what happens when you release an album in this country, it brings you into the mainstream process. And I knew that, you know, I knew that if we wanted to get into the shops, we couldn't release another EP. If we wanted to get any funding, maybe, for videos from New Zealand, we couldn't release an EP. If we wanted to be eligible for the Folk Award, for example, we couldn't release an EP. So I eventually, after some discussion, I got my point across, and we decided to put the 2 EPs together, because most people haven't seen it. You know, we sold 350 or something, but that's all to our fans, you know. The mainstream people haven't seen it. So that's what we're offering this time, and I've got a whole bunch of new songs to start an album. So that's why we made Everything So Far. And the other reason is that we need an album to get out and do the touring. You need to get, you know, to attract attention. For example, here I am.
Mm.
So to get the attention that you need an album so that the distributors and the record stores have got something that they can put up on their shelves that's viable for them. They make some money off. An EP they make $1.50. An album they probably make $6 or $7. You know, so it's much more. As always, it's commercial, no matter what you think. Mm. Hey, if you see this record around, buy it, okay? Buy it. And come to one of the shows, you'll have a great time. If you don't have a good time, come and see me afterwards and I'll give you your money back. Thanks for talking to me.
Thanks, mate.